friends near and far. This is the Jim Masters Show, live entertainment, lifestyle, celebrity talk show series. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm your host, Jim Masters. A pleasure to have you here. And thanks for all the love and support of our series as we reach, I think it's about 1,037 episodes as of this particular episode, which is absolutely amazing. We appreciate all the love and the support for all the levity, as we call it. There it is, the sign made from one of our viewers, Maureen in Arizona. Love and levity together, the levity. We're going to be talking about a love affair in a way, which was actually based on a tremendous friendship with my good buddy, who I had an opportunity to have dinner with, break bread with, tour the Paramount Studios with, and also just have a good time with Michael Stern, who's a prolific author, but also he works in television. You guys know I work in television and radio too, and we're just talking shop a little bit about some exciting things he's working on. He works with Dr. Phil, the audience coordinator for throughout the, that series of Dr. Phil. There's some new exciting things that are happening. He's made a transition from California. He's originally from Canada, Winnipeg area, and grew up in Canada. Now he's in Texas. Yes, Dr. Phil brought him to Texas to work on some really exciting things. But what we're going to be talking about in addition to that is something very special. And you may know if you have the book. If you don't have the book, I encourage you to get it because I picked it up. We were talking about 4 or 5 years ago before the pandemic, when I was in California on a television shoot in Burbank. Mike and I hooked up. We had dinner. We went to Paramount, and then we stopped at the gift shop. And what was there? This incredible book. Hey, gang, if you are a Lucille Ball fan and you don't have this in your collection, all the shows, all the series that she did, but just Lucy herself. And maybe you've read other books that people have penned that are sort of tabloidish and, maybe the facts are inaccurate and things of that nature. This book, which is a terrific read, and I've read it multiple times, and I've told many, many people about it who have ordered it online. We'll tell you how you can do that as well. It is the only book authorized by Lucille Arnez and Desi Arnez Jr. And Lucille Arnez is a wonderful dear friend and a friend of our show, and she's been here several times, and she loves Michael. It's like a wonderful family relationship that they've had for years, but he developed an extraordinary friendship with one of the most iconic figures in the entertainment and television and comedy industry, the one and only Lucille Ball. There he is on the couch in her house. They would play backgammon like in the morning and then in the evening. There's a whole backstory to this. I don't want to tell you all of it because, of course, there's a lot in the book. Everything's in the book. But the incredible friendship is very, very, it's been strong even in her passing. He reveres her. He honors her. He treats her memory with respect, which is absolutely incredible. Not a lot of people do that after they've met somebody, especially somebody they've always admired. There he is with Lucille Ball. This is Michael Stern, of course. Lucille Ball and the incomparable Desi Arnez. Could you imagine, right? For all of you who just like anything that has to do with Lucy and Desi, he actually had an opportunity to form a fabulous friendship with Lucy and Desi and Lucy Arnez, Desi Jr., and many other stars. And we're going to talk about some of the other stars in Hollywood. He's a super fan, but also somebody with respect and an admirer, but somebody who celebrates Hollywood and classic Hollywood, which I think is absolutely amazing. So the book is really something very, very special. And there it is on the screen again. I just want to tell you something about the book itself. First of all, something really exciting about this book. Here are some quotes. Desi Arnez Jr. said, "Knowing how much Mom liked Michael Stern, I knew his book would be honest, and it is. I had a ball. It's full of stories no one but Michael would know. His friendship with Mom," of course, that's Lucille Ball, "is evident on every page. A good read. Thank you, Michael." That's from Desi Arnez Jr. And from Lucy Arnez, she says, "Michael's memories are my memories, only clearer. What a talent for details. It was very moving for me to relive so much of our lives through Michael's eyes. Very entertaining, charming, and more importantly, true." As Mom wrote on one of her photos to him, "Happy thoughts." There's a whole backstory to this, and with the time that we have, because he's actually working with the team at Dr. Phil, and he's got to scoot off at some point. But I just want to tell you about the incredible background a little bit here. In 1971, he was 10 years old. Now, could you imagine? Now, I always loved Lucy as well. I did scrapbooks on Lucy and all kinds of things like that. You know, I was in love with her when I was a kid. Her, Florence Henderson, Shirley Jones, Barbara Eden, you know, the whole thing. But he got a chance to actually form a beautiful, real and honest friendship with her. In 71, he thought he had died and gone to heaven as he watched a filming of Here's Lucy, and he was enthralled with a redheaded, gifted beauty with the stage presence and the ability to make others laugh. And over the next few years, he would attend several more filmings, meeting Lucy and eventually becoming, in Lucille Ball's own words, her #1 fan. Could you imagine that? That the honor of that and having her actually say that, it's just really something special. So I don't want to tell the whole story because he is here. He's actually in Texas, his new locale, because he's working again with the team, continuing to work with the team with Dr. Phil. But let's welcome our fabulous friend, the incredible Michael Stern, stopping by for the Jim Masters Show live series. First time, but definitely not the last. Michael, welcome to the show, my friend. It's so nice.
I thought I was at my funeral. It's like, I know what people are going to say now.
I love that you said that. You know why? And you'll appreciate this because this is somebody else that you've had a friendship with. Ruta Lee's been on the show several times. She was on just a couple weeks ago before she headed to, her place in Mexico. So I did the introduction, reminding viewers about her illustrious career. And then when she came on the screen, she says, "That was one of the best damn obituaries I ever heard. If and when that happens, I want you to say it."
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I love Ruta.
Oh, she's amazing. What a hoot, huh?
I have become friends with her mostly in the last 5 years, even though I've known her as a fan for 40 years or so.
Yes.
But I had a going away party when I left Los Angeles after, let's say, 20, 30, 40
childhood.
years.
Yeah, childhood. Yeah.
I like that answer better, since childhood. And she came to my going away party. It's like I had so many people who wanted to make sure that I was gone. So like Italy and Jerry Mathers and Kathy Garver and Officer Bird and Barbara Streisand. No, she didn't. Why not? Ooh, yeah. But I did have a lot of people who attended my going away party, and it was really nice. And
it had to be tough, huh? Because you were so immersed in the Hollywood community, really supportive, going to the shows when you were a kid, writing to people, always being there, book signings, and just and then getting work in the industry that you love so much, like I do. It must have been hard to, you're there for a fabulous reason. We'll talk about that coming up.
Absolutely.
But it must have been hard to leave this world that you immersed yourself in since you were a kid.
Like you said, I am working for Dr. Phil. I've been with him now 19 years. And he said, "Now, Michael," oh no, I'm not doing my Dr. Phil impersonation. He said, "This isn't Hollywood, and we're making it a little bit Hollywood. We're making it a little bit Hollywood." So I'm a little homesick. Oh my gosh, I'm a little homesick right now. There's a lot of Hollywood parties going on, and Dick Van Dyke special that's filming this week. I could have been at.
One of the favorites.
Oh my gosh,
you met multiple times.
Yeah. So it's a little sad right now, but I will be going back to Hollywood next week. There's Dick Van Dyke.
Incredible. He's always got that golden smile, doesn't he? God.
And I saw him 2 weeks ago.
You did.
I was there back in LA for Thanksgiving, and I saw him a couple of days prior to Thanksgiving, and he's going to be 98 like next week.
That's incredible. And I know, right?
He's all there, and he was telling some great stories. How he knew like Laurel and Hardy and Buster Keaton and all the stars from the beginning.
It's incredible.
And he's a fan.
Oh, that's the thing too. He's a fan of it as well, which is a beautiful thing. Before we talk about the book and of course the incomparable Lucille Ball.
And there is a revised book, by the way.
Yes, with
one.
and she your second mother did the
Yeah,
forward, right?
did the forward. Mrs.
I wasn't
Brady.
she not I had an opportunity to meet her on several occasions, but you got to really get to know her. She almost adopted you in a way. She was one of the sweetest, most real. I always say, if people in my industry, our industry, I've had an opportunity to meet some of the people that I have found to be the most genuine and real. They'll ask, like, who are the top of it? Lucy Arnez is as real and funny and authentic. Florence Henderson, Carol Burnett. These people, if you are, and this is for the viewers, if you ever come, of course, the opportunity to meet them, of course, not Florence, but just to know that they were the real thing, the real deal. They really cared. They're warm. I remember Florence, actually, she probably told you this. She wrote back to like every fan, which
Yes.
was, could you imagine that?
Yes. That's what she did. I mean,
Yes.
she was that kind of a person.
She wrote the foreword for the updated book, huh?
Yeah, she wrote the foreword 21 days before she passed away. 3 weeks to the day, she wrote that foreword. And I'm so touched by her. And
yeah.
It was like, maybe Betty White will do it. Maybe Florence Henderson away.
I bet this happened to you, and this is why it was sort of kindred spirits. The Thanksgiving that she passed, I had just seen her maybe about a month or so before at a fabulous gala event that I was involved in emceeing, and she was emceeing in towards southern Connecticut, New York area for a charity, and she was friends of the family, and it was a beautiful event, and they always bring in top talent, and usually Kathy Lee Gifford and Frank Gifford are the ones who MC it, but Frank was ill and something happened, so they brought in their other friend who happened to be Florence, and it was just absolutely amazing. But the day, that Thanksgiving, right after, my phone and social media blew up. People were sending condolences to me saying, I'm so sorry for your loss. And I was like, wait, did a family member die? What happened on Thanksgiving Day? And it was Florence. I would imagine you had the same thing, huh?
Oh, hundreds. You have better lighting than I do. I just noticed that. I guess you are the host. Okay. Yeah, this is my first. This
is your first rodeo in Fort Worth.
Yeah, and this is the extra room in my house that I'm renting, and it's the first time I'm actually in this room for more than 3 minutes. And
and the beard looks great.
Yeah, so I hung those pictures all by myself.
Did you really?
So if they fall while we're in the show, you'll know why. And I have a couple other pictures around, but
yeah,
I'm trying to make, because I still have my house in LA, which is exactly intact the way I left it. My bedroom's the same, everything. My dirty clothes is still on the floor, so when I go home, it's my home. I feel like I work in Texas and I live in LA. I don't know how long I can say that for, but so I'm a little homesick. I'll probably say it a couple.
Hard move. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to meet friends here. I'm friends of the friendless in Texas, and like I even went on Facebook. They have Facebook groups, so I went like new to Dallas, and they declined me. It's like, whatever.
What?
They didn't. But I got to start meeting people. I got to start meeting people. So,
well, I
people, if you're out there,
yeah, well,
call 555.
You just show them this, and they'd be like crazy.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely.
So. You and I just wanted to let the audience know, because I think I've mentioned it before on the air. When I was on a TV shoot in Burbank, I had some extra time, and you and I wanted to get together because we had been chatting for such a long time, and we missed each other when you would come to the East Coast in New York, because you also worked, folks, in addition to what we're talking about, he's also worked on working with the Emmys too, right? Directing awards shows, things of that nature.
The Tony Awards,
yeah,
Emmys a little bit, the SAG Awards, the Golden Globes, the Spirit Awards. A lot of shows. I did every show except for I haven't been to the Academy Awards since Lucille Ball passed away. But other than that, I would go to all these awards shows, and I would see these celebrities, they do the circuit. So I would see them like 2 weeks later, hi, Garth Brooks. And then 2 weeks later, hi, Garth Brooks. And, and Sandy Bullock, call me Sandy.
Right.
You know.
So when we were there, we made some time to get together, and we went to dinner, and we went to this famous
Oh my
restaurant.
gosh, look at that picture.
And you just looked up the restaurant. Now, see there, you got great lighting. You looked up the restaurant, and this was a famous place right across from like where Desi Lou Studios was, and it's gone now. It's closed, I guess, huh?
Finally closed.
Closed.
It was Lucy Cantina or something like that. It was around 100 years. The street corner was dedicated the I Love Lucy corner or something to that nature.
Right. Yeah.
I do have photos of that. I got to help dedicate it with Doris Singleton and Marion Strong. And if you don't know who they are, they played Lucy's friends on I Love Lucy. And Doris Singleton was a lifelong Lucy person that was on I Love Lucy, The Lucy Show, Here's Lucy, the Lucille Ball specials, and so many other shows. You would recognize her in a heartbeat. And so we got to help dedicate the street corner, and also the people from the Lucy restaurant. They also were there, to dedicate. So I hope the corner is still the corner. It's like
right. And then we went over to Paramount, and we went over to the gift shop, and look what I got. My copy, direct right there with the author, with the man himself in the shop. That's a great shop. I think I left a few dollars there, not just the book, but a lot of other.
I hope I gave you my discount.
Yeah, you did. Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. Did. Yeah, I don't have it anymore.
Now, was there something I heard or read somewhere, and that's at Paramount in Hollywood and LA there. Did you used to get discounts for Lucy too?
Yes. When I worked at the May Company in North Hollywood and Robinson's, which was an upscale place, like not a Nordstrom's, but a little lower. She loved my discount, and I used to give her my discount all the time. And I remember, I think it's in the book, she called me one morning, I'm going to say around 5:45 or 6 o'clock in the morning. And of course I was sleeping, but hi, Michael, it's Lucy. And it's like, I need to shop for Desi right now. He needs a bedroom set. And it's like he needs linens, and I was going to say like which Desi,
which one? Yeah, junior or senior?
Desi. But I went shopping and bought a lot of the sheets and the pillowcases and everything for Desi. Wow. So, but she called early in the morning. She was a mom.
She was a mom, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, he was probably 35 years old, 40, but it's like
that's it, right? Yeah.
A mom is a mom,
She's still exactly. And you had an opportunity on many occasions to spend time with her at her home. But before we even talk about that, so you saw how she lived a real life and wanted to be home and hearth in many ways. It wasn't all the, it wasn't Liberace's house. It was a beautiful house, but not, with all the gold and the chandeliers. It was much more of
it was a
home, right? Exactly.
You put your feet on the sofa, which I did not.
But you watched I Love Lucy episodes with her all day once, right?
We did. I'm looking behind you, and it's like I'm more fascinated about like you have a George Burns doll.
You can see that there, huh? And next to the I Dream of Jeannie bottle,
right?
Gilligan. The Gilligan.
I saw Gilligan.
That's from Dreama Denver herself, Bob's. Dreama. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She was a guest on the show, and she saw the George Burns. She saw the I Dream of Jeannie bottle, and then she said, "You're missing something." I said, "What are we missing?" She said, "You're missing the Gilligan. You've got to have a Gilligan. I'm going to send you the Gilligan." And then Don Fullalove was on, and he sent the Mayor Goldie Wilson bobblehead from Back to the Future. So they see things, and then they send it along, and I'm like, how kind. These people are really fabulous and kind, and Dreamer's a wonderful person as well.
Yeah.
So going back in time, you're a kid, you grew up in Canada, family moves to California, and you have this.
And they gave me the opportunity. They said I could stay in Canada or I can move to Los Angeles. Now, I was 6 years old, so I would have been an orphan on the streets. So I came to Hollywood, and never looked back. Where we moved, little Ricky, Keith Thibodeau, and we lived in it was Van Nuys, California, just a very, what's the word? Just a regular little city.
Yeah, like a suburban community, right?
That's the word. He lived maybe a block away from me, but he moved like 4 months before I moved in. But how neat would that have been that he could have been my neighbor before I even knew what a Lucille Ball was.
Right.
But we talk about it all the time. I just saw him about a month ago. He's a grandfather. Little Ricky is a grandfather. And
amazing.
Isn't that amazing? He's like, I don't want to say how old he is, but
is he? I know he's originally from Louisiana, right? Is he still back home in Louisiana?
I think that's the state, or Kentucky. But
South, yeah.
But we always talked about, like, we went to the same candy store or the liquor store to buy candy. We went to the same places all the time, and we could have been real neighbors, but he's much older than me, so much older.
I see a little resemblance actually around the eyes, a little bit. Yeah, I just see. Well, they always thought that he was Desi Arnez Jr. He thought
always, One of my favorite times in my life, I was escorting Lucille Ball somewhere. It was at the Amundsen Theater, and the photographers come running because they see Lucy and they go, "Oh, well, you and your son take pictures. Come on, you and your son." It was like he's not Desi, but
he's not Desi.
No, it was. I was so excited. It was like,
yeah.
But it's like I used to know people and when I say no, I met like the George Burns and the Bob Hopes and the Sid Caesars. I think I grew up in Hollywood at the time when they were still stars, even though they hadn't really worked. I mean, yes, they might have. Thank you, boy, you quick.
That's it, right? East Coast quick.
They weren't like major movie stars at the time, or they might have done a little TV show here or there, like Loretta Young. I have no picture.
Oh, yes.
You pull up a picture with me and Loretta Young.
Yeah.
But I got to meet all these older people when they were still treated as stars. And I remember going to Monty Hall.
Let's make a deal. Yeah.
That was on Valentine's Day, by the way. But I went to Groucho Marx's memorial. It was open to the public.
Yeah.
I never met him. Yeah. And George Burns spoke. And I knew he wasn't going to stay for all the film clips and everything. So he spoke for a few minutes about his friendship with Groucho. And then he walked to the lobby and I followed. I was like 15, 16. And I was excited to see, George Burns for the first time, get his autograph. And I said, "Mr. Marx, could I please have your autograph?" Now, yeah, I know, exactly. Groucho died and I called him Mr. Marx. He goes, "Tonight I don't mind being called Mr. Marx, but tomorrow call me George." Right. What a great, he could have put me down.
Yeah.
But he was so nice. The only celebrity like that who put me down was Yul Brynner, another person. And it wasn't him, it was his manager. And I was probably...
Which a lot of times that's what happens, yeah.
Yeah, I was probably like 14 or 15. He was doing The King and I in Los Angeles. He toured forever. And I wrote a fan letter, and I really didn't know who Yul Brynner was, but I wanted him to sign my program. And I wrote, "Dear Mr. Brynner, I'm such a big fan. After the show, would you mind signing my program?" His manager comes up to me and says, "If you're a fan of Mr. Brenner, you would know it's not Brenner." But then Yul Brynner did sign my program. But it was like, don't put me down. I was 14. I'm lucky that I even knew how to.
I thought he was the brother of David Brenner.
That's the Brenner I knew.
Yeah, from Philadelphia. Yeah. No, you've had an opportunity to meet, the incomparable Rosemary. Matter of fact, you met them all. Rosemary, Larry Matthews, Dick Van Dyke, Mary Tyler Moore. That's a great shot. When was this one with you and Rosemary?
That's the same day as Monty Hall. It was...
Wow.
It was a salute to, I got to look it up, but there was a charity called the Variety Club.
Yeah.
And it was like
goes
once
back.
a year. They honored like Carol Lawrence one year, not Vicki Lawrence, Carol Lawrence.
Carol, yeah.
And the very first time I went, my rabbi's wife said, hey, they're honoring Carol Burnett. You want to go? And I couldn't afford it. She says, don't worry, we'll take care of you. And Lucille Ball was there, Mary Tyler Moore, Shirley MacLaine. It was July 1975. I still have the ticket for the event. How much do you think 1975 money was a luncheon at the Beverly Hilton Hotel for a charity? It was a no host bar, but I was like 14, so it didn't matter. But a full luncheon that literally had Shirley MacLaine and Harvey Korman and Tim Conway, and
yeah,
it was
top shelf. Yeah.
How much do you think it was?
Let's see. Back then, let's see.
For charity.
Hilton, for charity. In that the 70s, $500.
$8.
Really?
$8. I still have the paper. Yeah.
Wow.
$8. It might have been underwritten by somebody.
Somebody who, yeah.
$8.
That's incredible. You've had so many great experiences, and of course, this book here, Lucy, this is really something. I had a ball. I love the title too. And there you are on the couch, and look at the way she's looking at you, and it's just really something very special. How did the relationship, the friendship, the deep friendship form? Was it, I know that you were a fan of a movie I've always liked, and I know you've watched it probably 10,000 times, Yours, Mine, and Ours with Lucille Ball and Henry Fonda, when they worked together with all the kids. Was that before all the other things about Lucy that you enjoyed? Was that introduced you?
That's the first time I ever saw her on screen. TV screen or movie screen. And I couldn't, what's the word I want to say? Let's say I had my parents take me back to see it again within a week.
Yeah.
I mean, something about that lady just made me laugh.
Yeah.
And then a few months later, I was watching I Love Lucy, and I didn't realize it was the same person until my aunt said, Michael, that's the same lady from the movie Yours, Mine, Ours. So I became a fan of Lucille Ball, and I learned a lot about Lucille Ball, and favorite movie. And it turned out that my neighbor's mother's boss worked on Here's Lucy and the Lucy Show and I Love Lucy, but got me tickets to see the show, and I got to meet her, and she was really nice to me. That after a couple times I went, I got to go backstage. She gave me a kiss, signed an autograph, which is like, I'm in heaven. But I would never see her again. But then I actually saw her a few extra times. And when she told me, go get a life, go get a job.
Yeah.
I got a job working at the department store. She came to make sure that I was working. I mean, hello. Mm-hmm. So once that happened, I went to her house a few times. And then that's when we sort of bonded at her house. Yeah. And even at a super young age, even at 12, 13, 14, I always knew, and no one told me this, I always knew the difference between Lucille Ball, the actress, and Lucille Ball, the person.
Yes.
But when I was with her, we never talked about what was it like being on I Love Lucy? Oh, where's Fred and Ethel? And we always talked about what was happening in real life and her problems, my problems. And that's the friendship we had. I mean, she was almost motherly to me. And if I had any problems, she would always say, you know what, Michael, talk to your parents. And so she got me closer to my parents. I mean, she knew her boundaries. She didn't want to overstep. So,
and you were in the audience. You weren't you in the audience of, what was that show? Was it called America Alive or something? And you were
but
there.
That was years later. Yeah.
That was later, but I mean, you were just omnipresent with it.
Which was like The View, The Talk, Today.
Right.
But they had Lucille Ball on, I think it was for the whole week.
Right.
And the one episode that's still available on YouTube and everything, was when she did a 1-hour seminar. And Pam,
I saw that.
I
That
agree
was
with you. Absolutely. But then people got to ask her real questions.
yes.
And that's the way she did her seminars. And people were a little shocked that she wasn't Lucy Ricardo.
More direct.
She
And
was a very direct person and not funny. I mean, she could do funny things, but she wasn't funny in real life.
that's what surprises people, right? A lot of people will say Desi and Lucy Arnez are just inherently quick-witted, funny, can respond to things in an observational way. I mean, Lucy is incredibly fast with her wit. Arnez, very funny, very dry, very just boom.
She's
And
my favorite person in the world.
she's terrific, isn't she?
She's my Mount Rushmore. I mean, sorry, family, but she is. I mean, I treasure her, and she also gave me a going away party at her home when I left. And
you know what's nice is that they, they welcomed you, Lucy, Desi Jr., Desi Senior, Lucille Ball. They welcomed you, but especially the kids of, because a lot of times the kids of could be protective of the star, protective of the parent, even if they're not a celebrity. And they welcomed you into their world and still do all these years later, which I think is a beautiful and very rare thing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But I mean, she knows me inside and out, warts and everything, but well, I have no warts, but
well, you're seated, so we don't know.
yeah, no warts. I'm pretty good.
That's it.
But
So,
no,
wasn't there something where you had a scrapbook too, and you showed it to Dee Dee, her mom, and she loved it, and she was sort of an entree to you with Lucy?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She was Lucille Ball's mother. Used to go to every filming of all the things Lucille Ball used to go to. Film. And I went to her the third time I went to the filming, and she asked me if I would love to go meet Lucy after the show. So it was the guest stars were Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet, who I really didn't know at the time. But I watched the whole episode. I sat in her section. She said, "Why don't you?" And "Who are you with?" I go, "I'm here with my mom." So we got to move from the rafters and sat dead center right behind her. And it was something I'll never forget, and that was over 50 years ago. I hate talking to you, Jim. Everything's 50 years ago, 60 years ago.
It's amazing.
Not 60. Hello, not 60. That was a slip. I'm not that old.
Not at all.
No.
But you also, you knew Desi Senior. You knew.
I didn't know him that well. And I want to be
more Lucille.
I only met him a few times.
Yeah.
Every time I met him, I wish I knew him more. I mean, a great man. I couldn't understand him a lot.
Sure, right.
I think I knew all his words on I Love Lucy, so he had a very thick accent.
He did. Lots of explaining to do.
A lot of explaining, but what a nice man. And you know what? Everyone I always met with Lucille Ball, the people who surrounded her were always really nice people. I got to meet Vivian Vance. I got to meet, like I said, all the characters from I Love Lucy, and I've been privileged and honored, and I don't take it for granted. They're very special people. And but knowing Desi Senior, like I said, what a gentle man.
Yes.
Yeah, just really nice.
And there was always still love there between the two of them. Yeah.
Oh, when I saw him, absolutely. Yeah. Lucy, I'm home. It's like he said fine. It's like we were at an event and where you saw that photo. It's like they almost played Lucy and Ricky for about 30 seconds when he walked through the door. And people just like ate it up. It was cute.
Did going to the television shows, being on set, or being in the audience, what have you, getting tours, meeting the different people, did that also sort of create the interest in television for you in terms of going into it as a career? Because I know there was a period where you actually worked with Lucille Ball and company, right? For a bit.
Yes. Well, first of all, I've been going to TV shows, well, since I was 10 years old. And I was always fascinated with the lights and the cameras and the band and but just the crew and how they all work together.
The whole thing, yeah.
I mean, the nice thing is, well, besides the 10-year-old kid, I lived, well, to NBC Studios, it was one bus. And in those days, it was okay to take the one bus when you're 14, 15 years old. And so I would go to NBC and see shows like Chico and the Man and
Freddie Prinze, Jack Albertson, Della Reese,
Scatman Crothers, Sanford and Son, CPO Sharkey, Hollywood Squares, a ton of game shows. The
Price is Right. Did you get to The Price is Right?
I only went a few times. That was like 3 buses
with Bob Barker. Yeah,
I did go a few times, and he was great to the studio audience.
Yeah.
And see, in those days, when you went to shows, the celebrity that you went to go see, they appreciated the studio audience.
Mm-hmm.
They broke down that fourth wall, and they were friendly, and like they would do Q&A like a Carol Burnett, you know, like for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And then maybe throughout the run of the episode, maybe they didn't come back to the audience, but they would acknowledge the audience. Like,
exactly.
Audience, can you believe I'm wearing the same outfit for the 3 segments? In or, I just heard the Dodgers score, or is it hot in here? You know, just acknowledge the audience that they were there and an important part of the show.
Right.
And then
they were part of the family, part of people's family, right?
And then I went to shows like in the 90s or whatever, like Friends, or they would come out, wave at the very beginning, and then 4 hours later, you know, they never acknowledged you again. And it was like, it was cold.
Different. Yeah. Right.
I like shows that the celebrity comes out and talks to you, even for 2 minutes.
Just
the experience. And I'm not going to talk too much about the new show that I'm doing. Dr. Phil is doing.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a big audience participation before the show even starts. Even before the show, an experience that you'll remember forever.
That's
it's I've seen photos of what they're building, and they're building it today. I mean, they're literally
That's incredible. And right there in Dallas, Fort Worth.
In the Fort Worth area. Yeah, it's there's no other shows that film out here, like especially with an audience. Dr. Phil is building the set, and he's there every day building, and I mean, not with a hammer and nails, but he is building, and he's hands-on. He is hands-on, and I'm meeting a lot of people from all over the place that are putting this show together. And it starts to air last week in February. Check your local cable
listings. Yeah.
Because I don't even know what station it's on yet.
Right.
But it's Merritt Street Media. You can Google that, and soon you'll find out where it's going to play. And
that's cool. We'll keep an eye.
It's going to be exciting. It really is. It's Dr. Phil. And it's going to be a changer. You'll like it.
That's great. That's exciting. That's very exciting. You heard it here on the Jim Masters Show from one of the guys who's immersed in it. And of course, Dr. Phil, sort of launched by somebody else you met, Oprah.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Hi, Oprah.
Hey, Oprah.
Yeah. That was at the SAG Awards. And she is actually one of those people that when fans approach her, she's very approachable and very nice, and will sign autographs, take pictures, and things you remember, you know, which I like.
Which is amazing. B. Arthur.
Yeah,
hey.
You just
and then there's Maud.
You just don't want to meet people who you're a fan of, and then they turn on you.
And then there's the
that can happen. And B. Arthur She was great. Now, she had a different work ethic. Like when I saw her, I never saw her do Maude, but I went to a few Golden Girls, and like Betty White would talk to the audience during all the breaks, and she's the one with the microphone and like kibitz with the audience. And B. Arthur was very like, you thought she was cold because she would literally go to the back of the set, and we could all see her with her back towards the audience. And maybe she was just getting ready into being into character.
Into the character, yeah.
Right. But so she really didn't talk to the audience.
God will get you for that, Michael.
Right. Yes. But she was great when you met her. She was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that leads us to something very, and we're going to circle back to the book and Lucy and maybe a couple of quick stories. I know you've got some time constraints. And I wanted to get your thoughts on this because it's so fresh. Norman Lear. Norman Lear,
what a gentleman. There's another photo that same night. I don't know if you have that, but he was just giving me some pointers and just telling me some great stories. And I don't know if you have that photo, but
I'm not sure you do on that one. What was he doing? Pointing to you?
Pointing to me
directing you?
Yeah. Just what a gentleman. I saw him also a few years earlier. He was about 95 when his book came out.
Right.
And I went to a Q&A that he was doing.
Yeah.
And he drove himself. He's 95 years old. I mean, anyone who's 95 shouldn't be driving. Sorry. Right. He was driving in Beverly Hills, Brentwood, wherever it was. No problem. Just no problem. But he was also honored the same day, January 21st, 1984.
Wow.
At the very, 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 very first TV Hall of Fame Awards.
Remember that? Was that 1984?
1984. It was.
And Lucy was in there. Yeah.
William S. Paley, Milton Berle.
And that's the one where Lucille Ball was dissolved because Lucy was on Broadway and she sang "My Mother, the Star." Remember that?
Oh,
and then they cut to that shot, and then she blows her a kiss, and they cut to the shot of Lucy with Gary Morton in front of her and Paley behind her.
Yeah.
Dissolved. That was so. Yeah. That was a TV moment.
It was the highlight. One of Lucy said, and I will never say what Lucy was thinking if she doesn't say it out loud or whatever. But it was one of the highlights of her career to be honored the way it was in the first annual.
I miss all those shows that they used to do that were celebrating the industry. You really don't see that now.
They still do it. I think they still honor them at a luncheon or a dinner.
Yeah.
No,
but nothing where it's a big TV production and jib cameras swooping down and the announcer from Hollywood.
It's sad, and it should be. And it could be recorded. I'm sure it is. I've been to about 6 of them, 7. I used to go for about a 5-year period with Florence Henderson all the time.
Yeah.
And I remember one year, oh my gosh, I'm telling a story. Cloris Leachman was being honored. And usually you go out there and you give a 2-3 minute speech, like, I like to thank Mary or my career and whatever. She brought out a book and she started reading chapter after chapter, and she was probably on for like 40, 45 minutes. And it was horrible. People were leaving left and right. It was just, she didn't know when to get off.
And didn't you once ask her maybe to sign something, whatever? And she had said, right now, I'm with my daughter.
Ooh, you have a good memory. Yes, absolutely. She's the one who literally told me, and I was able to tell her this afterwards. She's the one who told me, she said, Michael, there's a time when I'm a celebrity and there's a time when I'm a mom. And right now I'm a mom. Like, get away. And so she taught me that. And I've learned. So like, if I ever see a celebrity at a restaurant or they're with their family, that's not, I won't bother them. Well, once I did, but I won't bother them. But if they're at a place where they're being, I'm a star,
then
Yes,
they
yeah,
expect it. They're ready for it.
they're in
Right.
makeup usually.
But if they're at Jiffy Lube getting an oil change, maybe not.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if they're by themselves, yes. If they're with their
With
family, no. But
right.
just about a month ago, I ran into Linda Lavin from
Oh,
Alice.
sure.
And
Yeah.
I've run into her maybe 10 times now. So I know she doesn't know who I am, but we have a great photo together from like probably during Alice time. And it's such a beautiful photo. But we were at a restaurant and I was with my friend in LA and I said, "Oh, there's Linda Lavin." And I had explained who Linda Lavin was.
Yeah.
Full story. And I said, "Nope, I'm not going to bother them. I just saw her a month ago. Nope, off limits. She's at dinner with friends. No, Michael," and I'm talking as like a third person. "Michael, nope, you're not going to bother her." Well, I went up to her table at the right time, and I said, "Instead of you order," because a photographer came around to like get a picture of you at your table.
Yep.
I said, "I think you should order this photo instead." She goes,
Ah.
"I know who you are. How are you?" And I literally thought I was going to be at her table for like 20 seconds.
Ooh.
Literally, her friend said, "Sit down, sit down." I go, "No, no, 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 no." I must have been at her table for like 15 minutes. She was so nice.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was really nice, but timing is everything.
Timing is everything.
Usually I don't bother them at a restaurant.
There's several other legends. Again, we'll circle back on the book, but just so many people that you've had an opportunity to come across. And one, he had a short-lived show, and I saw reruns of it. I don't know if it was Antenna TV or one of those about 2 years ago. And I hadn't seen it originally, but I had heard of it. And we watched all the episodes, matter of fact, a couple of times. And I liked it. And I know that they threw it together because Bewitched was ending and they still had the contract with ABC. So they had to fill it. So then they grabbed somebody else you met and they created the Paul Lynde show with Paul Lynde. I thought he was funny on that show. I loved the whole thing. But
wow.
yeah.
And I think there's some people who worked on that show who worked on other shows that I know, but I only met him personally maybe this one time. I used to go to Hollywood Squares a lot, but I just never, I think I got his autograph there or whatever. But
and look how he's leaning into you. That's really nice. That's the way to do it. Yeah.
That was a Polaroid picture.
That's the way to do it.
And if you notice my Lucy pad right next to me.
Yes.
So he was signing. I don't know. Oh God, I was so thin. But I think to get the Polaroid picture, it was like $2 or $3. It was for charity, Actors and Others for Animals,
right?
Which I'm still very much involved with.
Very involved.
50 years old, but I'm still very much involved. But it was like $2, $3. I could have, coulda, woulda, shoulda. There was a photo opportunity to get all 4 Golden Girls together, all 4 Golden Girls, in a picture on a Polaroid for $20. And I didn't do it. I go, why would I want to spend $20 when I already have my picture with Betty White?
I've got
my picture with Bea Arthur. I already have my picture with Reuben McCallum. Why do I need them all together?
All together, right?
This mistake. Who knew? Who knew that show was going to be on 40 years later?
All those years. And you did get the Betty White several times.
Oh, many times. Betty White, I have been lucky enough, fortunate enough, when I work all these shows, that they always put me with Betty White or Carol Burnett, because they knew that I knew them. I could call Betty at home. That was, I love her. That was at the Golden Globes.
Carol Burnett. Yeah.
Do you know why she's holding her hands like that?
It's a very loving, it's a beautiful thing. It's almost like I'm here with Michael Stern. It's got that look to it.
No, her bra strap broke.
See, I'm always taking lemons and making lemonade out of them.
Yeah.
Now you know. Now you know, folks.
Yeah, but that was backstage.
That is something else.
They have a special award for her.
Wow.
But love my Betty White.
Yeah.
Miss her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She was
100.
amazing. And your Streisand.
Toughest celebrity photo to get. The toughest
Was
celebrity.
this like in motion?
No, we were, it was for a charity, it was a telethon. And she was sitting with Cher and Billy Crystal, and Oprah was there, and Tom
Yeah.
Hanks. Everybody was there. And I was talking to her manager, Marty Ehrlichman, who is still alive. He's in his 90s. And I mean, he backed the I Love Lucy 50th anniversary tour that went all over the country in state fairs and everything. So I went up to him and I said, you know, you don't know me, but I sort of worked with you. I had all my memorabilia on these things. And we talked for about 10, 15 minutes. Then Barbara Streisand's secretary, assistant came by with a big heavy bag and the dog. And I said, oh, would you like me to hold your bag? So now it's the three of us talking and, you know, whatever. And so I was in the group and I knew what I was going to do, but it was in the group. The telethon is almost over, like 2 minutes to go. And Marty said, well, let's go get Barbara. Okay, so I'm going. And so now it's the four of us talking. And I bring up Lucille Ball of like, when Lucy always did these seminars, people would ask her, what was it like with Lucille Ball? I mean, with like Carol Burnett and Mary Tyler Moore. And she interviewed Barbara Streisand when she was like 22 years old. Lucy had a radio show, which is now
which Lucille Arnez has released.
Right. Let's talk to Lucy. And so we talked about that a little bit. And I just said, you know, I'm a fan. I'm just a fan. And Marty Ehrlichman, because I couldn't do it in front of him, had to go and get the car. And so I finally had the nerve to say to Ms. Streisand, could I get a photo with you? And she said, oh, no, I don't do that. And I said, oh, I respect you, no problem. And we kept talking about Lucy and all that. And finally she said, you know what? Michael deserves a photo. And she asked her secretary to take out her phone. So her secretary took about 9 photos and then said, send him that one. And so I wouldn't let her secretary leave to get into the car until she emailed it to me.
To make sure the email went, it was sent and received.
I got it. And I have a few friends in LA who I text right away and they go, you are the king. You are the king.
And she has her new memoir out as well, which is quite riveting. And you
it's
don't have a photo.
In my book, actually. I don't know why, but she mentions me in her book.
Well, after this episode of the Jim Masters Show Live series, Michael, the numbers may grow. The Queen.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking Barbara Streisand, Lucille Ball, yes, others.
And I got to meet the Queen because
the
Queen of England.
Tea, crumpets, London.
Yeah, I didn't
How'd that happen?
That much time with her, maybe 20 minutes, but in the same air.
I mean, even 20 minutes? Most people don't even get to breathe the same air.
Yeah, no, this was at a planting of a tree in Kensington Gardens in London. Every day in the paper it would say where the royal family would be. And on the second to the last day that I was in London, it said the Queen will be in the gardens planting a tree. So I got there about 5 hours before and nobody was there. 4 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours. Finally, the people who worked in the gardens put up some stanchions. And so I was in the right place. And about maybe 20 minutes before, maybe 100 people showed up, 150, maybe. So she came out of there were 2 cars, like a Honda and her Rolls Royce.
What a difference.
I know. She comes out of the Rolls Royce and I started the applause because I got a TV show, so I know what to do. She walks the red carpet. She, dug a little hole, and then she walked down the red carpet again, and she met the people who worked in the gardens for like 30 years. And I went to that area. Remember, there was only like 150 people.
Right.
So after she met them, I said, "California loves you," and she, gave a wave. Person next to me like said, "Mississippi loves you," and she gives a wave. And then I said, "Back home in the United States, I work for Lucille Ball, and she told me if I saw you, say hello." She literally turned around and said, "You know Lucille Ball?" And I said, "Yes." And we probably spent like 12 seconds together, 14 seconds.
Hey,
but it was the best one. I almost should have, would have, could have said, "Could I get a photo with you?" I know she probably wouldn't have done it. But you know what? I called Lucille Ball up and I said, "The Queen told me to say hello to you." And she goes, "The Queen knows who I am?" It's like, yeah. It turns out the Queen's favorite show was I Love Lucy.
Was I Love Lucy. So you sort of brought the two worlds together, which is
I know.
That you also met somebody, like I mentioned, I've been working, probably one of the many hats I wear in the industry, and you wear a lot of hats too, is a television news magazine series and daily radio series that comes out of New York with my co-host of 19 plus years, Mr. Doug Llewellyn from the People's Court.
What? Yes.
And you got to go, and you went to this when they were doing it in Stamford, Connecticut, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And I went up to him because the executive producer of the show, or he has a title like that, was Lucille Arnez's first husband. And I went up to him and he said, "Oh, let me take you to his office." So
right,
so nice. And we spent a lot of time. I mean, we spent probably an hour in his
showed you all around the whole set and everything.
Absolutely. But what a great guy. And he's not yes, he's young.
He's a seasoned veteran.
A seasoned veteran, but like over 80. And when he just did the show last year or whatever, he's all there. I mean,
you'll love this story. I asked him when he always stayed in touch with Ralph Edwards Stu Billett Productions and then the various morphing of that. So he had his production company in Los Angeles. He's done, business type shows and everything with William Shatner and others. And Doug and I have worked together and still work together to almost about 19 years now on that one particular news magazine show in New York and the radio show. And he was telling me, it was a number of years back, that the People's Court wanted to go retro, and they asked him if he wanted to come back and host it and do the interviewing after the cases. And of course he said absolutely yes, but he stayed in touch with them, and whenever he flew out to LA he would have dinner with them. So he stayed in touch with the producers, so that opportunity came. So when he was telling me, we were talking on the phone, and he's like, "Jim, you're going to be hosting the People's Court again?" And I said, "That's fantastic. You've been doing this for decades. You started out, you were doing news anchoring in Washington, D.C., and you worked with Judge Wapner and the original People's Court and all these other things. I think they did the, what was it, with Geraldo, the Al Capone reveal, and there was nothing on the side that produced that as well, and helped launch Judge Judy as well, sort of convinced her with his partner to take a look at that television idea, which now look at it. And I said, "So what's the secret to all of this? What's the secret to the longevity in this crazy industry?" He said, "You want to know what the secret is? I'll tell you what the secret is after being on for decades." I said, "Well, is it what? The talent? Is it the who you know? Is it the networking, the education, skill set, right time, right place, luck, all of it?" Here's what it is, Jim. A good moisturizer.
What's that kid used today? Look at that.
That's a little, that's the halo. Halo.
Wow.
That's Shirley Jones. How can we not talk about Mrs. Partridge?
Sissy Sweetheart.
Shirley Jones.
I went.
Liza.
Keep on going.
It's really incredible, and this is, folks, this is just as
what I have?
Our system can only hold this many photos, and then it was starting to smoke and burn. I wanted to hear your words about Suzanne Summers as well. You mentioned Norman Lear, who we lost. We also recently lost Suzanne Summers.
When Lucille Ball used to clear out her garage for me every year for a charity. And she literally don't throw anything away.
Right.
So
Yeah. Keep it all.
I would have things that literally was trash.
Yeah.
But one thing that she not donated, but just it was in the pile of like trash almost,
Yeah.
was a shampoo bottle and moisturizer or whatever, body wash. And it came in an old box. And on the box was Suzanne Summers, probably 9 years before she did Three's Company. And I recognized her. And so I got to have Suzanne sign it. And she said, I don't remember this photo shoot at all, because in those days she would be told every day, okay, you're going to, go to this shoot or that shoot. She says, but I remember that sweater because I would wear it all the time. And it was her sweater, but she had never seen the box before. So I gave it to her. And that was
wonderful. Is that, huh?
Yeah. But she was I saw her I was even in a Thigh Master commercial with her.
Were you really?
Yes, I was. And it wasn't because of my thighs. I knew how to applaud.
The audience. He was a part of the audience.
Yeah.
Yes. You're kind of like, what is her name? Is it Mrs. Miller from the East Coast that went
Thanks
to
a lot.
Merv?
Yes.
Well, no, I mean, in a good way. You, like I said in the beginning,
Yeah.
you just love the industry. You love the whole thing of it. You support the stars. You work in the industry as well. But it's just something that you revel in, which, in this world today,
and she was a little
people don't revel in stuff like that anymore.
Mrs. Miller was a little because we would overlap. She was like at the end of her.
Was she a little persnickety?
Yeah, she was like, oh, you're here again. Oh, what are you doing here? Like, yeah, I remember that.
She was the Helen Thomas of shows, right in the front row.
He would come to shows like Merv Griffin all the time. And you wanted it when you went to those shows, the Mervs and everything, you wanted to see Mrs. Miller in the audience.
Sometimes Merv, I think I saw an episode where he acknowledged her and the camera showed her. And she's got her hat on, the hat and the glasses and the whole thing. She's waving.
Absolutely. She was the Michael Stern of the
East Coast, right? Another one, Loretta Swit. She was a guest.
No, that's not Loretta.
Oh, no, that's not. That's Doris Day. Doris Day. Yes, Doris Day.
That's probably one of my all-time favorite hits. I mean, when I post that on Facebook, people love Doris Day. And
I tell you, she and I think some of the greatest smiles in the industry are Doris Day and Dick Van Dyke. I mean, those two just, Doris Day. I don't know who looks happier there, you or her.
And what a sweetheart!
Yes, huh?
Got to meet her a few times, and
which is great.
You were not disappointed when you met her.
Tell us about. I know your time is limited. I'm keeping on that clock. Carol Burnett. You've referenced her many times as like you do Lucy, and they had such a wonderful friendship.
And Lucy introduced me to her.
Is that what happened? Is that how that happened?
Yep.
Wow.
And then she gave me tickets to her show. And,
yeah.
I mean, we don't have dinner every week or anything like that, but we would be at award shows together or write letters back and forth now. And she was invited to my going away party. She declined, but she wrote me the nicest letter. And
sure.
From Texas, and
that's right. Where she's from originally.
Yeah. And but just for my birthday, she did like a video for my birthday, which is really nice. I've been on her show, which is really nice. So I have a lot of video with us together, but one of the highlights was also at the Beverly Hilton Hotel about 6 years ago. It's probably longer. She was the person giving out the award to Kristen Chenoweth.
Oh, yeah.
But sure. I was Carol's male escort on stage with her. So I got to walk on stage with her and just be her support. And then when she exited and everything. But what a highlight is we met probably 40 years earlier on the same area at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. And here I am now walking out with her. And it's just every time I see her, she's still Carol Burnett. She's a wonderful person. I think I know her a little more now, outside of being Carol Burnett. I've never been to her home, but we do talk a lot. So
That's so great, right? To have that opportunity like that to stay
I'm
in
being
touch.
called. I'm actually being called to work. I know it's 7:00. It's after 7.
Boom.
Uh,
Henry Lamar.
Henry Lamar. That's the day that I first met Lucille Ball. I had no camera at that time. I wish I did.
Yeah.
That's what it was like. I went to Lucy Lane. It was behind the set, and that's Henry Lamar, who was not even born yet.
He's amazing, isn't he?
That's almost exactly the way it was. Like with my little autograph pad, and he got it. So I use that photo. I do a show like on cruise ships.
Yes, that's right.
I tell people I'm a pole dancer, but talk about Lucy, and I show clips, and that's the way when they come into the theater, they see the picture from Henry Lamar.
Dominic D just has a quick question. Hey, Jim and Michael, just wondering, Michael, did you ever meet Gail Gordon? Any stories on Gail? Okay. Thank you very much, Dominic D.
Yes, absolutely. If I had to put people as like the nicest to the meanest, which I would never do anyone mean. I like Baldwin, Jerry Lewis, but being the nicest has to be Gail Gordon. He was, as Lucy said, a real live gentleman. He was not Mr. Mooney, Uncle Harry. He was
Gail.
Loving. He was one of the most generous people I've ever met, and what an honor that I got to know him, got to work with him on Life with Lucy, just got to drive with him once. Did
you really?
Yeah. We were both doing in LA, they would have every year a I Love Lucy marathon, and they would have all these celebrities, local ones, and Whoopi Goldberg and everybody. I can't even think of everyone right now.
Yeah.
They asked Gail Gordon to do a video, 30 seconds, like, "Hi, Lucy, happy birthday." And I drove with Gail Gordon and to the studio, and we filmed a little happy birthday. He did his, I did one. And
so full circle here. She welcomed you into her home. She welcomed you into her life. You played backgammon with her. You told stories. You heard her stories. It's an extraordinary thing, and it's rare. And as I mentioned, she called you, her greatest fan of
her number one fan. Yeah.
Millions and millions and millions and millions of people over all these decades who love her, who miss her. On one of them, you got that opportunity because she just saw something, and you guys just connected, and you wrote a book about it. I Had a Ball, my friendship with Lucille Ball. What was it like writing it? Did that take a long time?
I made it a long time.
Yeah. You wanted to tell it.
Yeah. And the first couple of years, I was, I'm writing it. But then it was time to really get it out there. And so the year before, I really worked on it.
Yeah.
And it's not a book that the reason I think it's success is because it's my stories about Lucille Ball and other celebrities. It's not what Lucille Ball was thinking, because I don't know what was in her mind.
Right.
It was my thoughts. Now, if Lucy told me some stories, yes, that was in there. It's just a fan's point of view. It's just a fan's point of view. And I was lucky enough to know her. She was like a mom to me. And how lucky for me. I cherish that time that we had. And I wish I could remember everything that went on. Like, people would say, like, so what was she wearing that day? Or, after I was here the next day, I go, I don't know. It's like, I don't remember, because I was in the moment I was talking about Lucy with her, it wasn't, I didn't go home and go, okay, Lucy said this today. Lucy said that.
No.
It
You
was just
respected her space and
right,
her
but it was
privacy. Yeah.
right, and it was just her as the person.
Right.
Yeah, she wasn't a I didn't realize how big of a star she was
Right.
until after she passed away. I mean, I was a young kid. I didn't
Yeah.
know.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was a tough day, wasn't it, for the world?
Oh
Jeez.
my gosh, it still
I
is.
just, yeah.
But Lucille Arnez is the one who told me, and she said it on a couple of talk shows, is that Lucille Ball, the mom, the wife, she passed away, and yes, we are in mourning. I know her; she was in mourning. But Lucy Ricardo, Lucy Carmichael, Lucy, Carter were there. She's still there.
They'll live on.
She laughs. She lives on forever. Isla Lucy's over 70 years old. Here's Lucy's 50 years old. They run today, and you know what? She still makes you laugh.
She
And
does. Yeah, she
yeah.
does. I want to thank all the viewers, our Jim Master Show lovities. I said the show has a lot of light, love, and levity, and I said it too fast during the early days of the pandemic. And I come up with the word lovity by combining love and levity accidentally. So they already said, Michael, you are a Jim Master Show lovity. How cool is that, huh?
I think I'm honored.
Yeah, there's Oscar,
honored.
Tonys and Grammys and Oscars and Peabodys and all these fabulous things. But you and Emmys, you are a lovely on our show. This was amazing. I want to let folks know real quick because he has to get to work. He's working again with Dr. Phil. There's exciting things coming up.
He gave me like an hour off so I could go back to work.
That's it. He was the audience coordinator on the Dr. Phil television series, thelucyfan.com. The book is also available at Amazon and books are sold. This was not only a treat to have you talk about Lucy and all these other fabulous legends, but also to stay. You and I have been connected ever since we met, in Hollywood there. But just the fact that you took some time to come on the show and you're so busy, and then the holiday season too.
I was just going to say, can I wish everyone a happy holiday? And
yes. Oh, sure. Absolutely.
We filmed this or taped this or podcast.
Go ahead. Yeah. This will be archived on our YouTube channel. Happy Hanukkah.
Happy
Merry
Hanukkah
Christmas.
to everyone. Be safe.
That's it.
Think about everyone in Israel right now.
Yeah. And best wishes for the new year. Everybody, if you missed this episode, it will be, if you just joined us late, just want to let you know some real quick housekeeping that this will be archived exclusively on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. So you can see this episode again. You can share the YouTube episode link. It'll bring you right to our channel. Give this episode a like. Love it. See the heart like Lucy. Give it the love, like, and leave a comment on the YouTube channel. What did you love about this show? What did you love about some of the things we talked about with our very special guest, Michael Stern? And subscribe to the channel. This is
everyone's
amazing.
texting me right now about the show that I'm getting all these people who love it. So
I appreciate that. They're all welcome to join us, and they can binge watch over 1,037 past episodes of our Celebrity Talk Show series. Could you imagine that? That's crazy. That's a lot of levity.
That's a lot. That's that's a lot.
That's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. Name them all. Name them all in order.
Oh my God. Gee. Well, I can tell you some of the folks who've been with us. I mean, Marion Ross, and of course, Anson, Don, and Freda Payne has been here as well. Kathy Garver several times. Jerry Mathers has been here as well. And let's see. Lucille Arnez has been here several times. Linda Pearl, Joanna Gleason. Yeah, it's amazing. And then sometimes, do some pop-up stuff, just chatting with the viewers as well. And because they're interactive. So this was terrific. And yes, and give Dr. Phil our very best. There it is. Let's get a close-up of him holding. You don't know what he went through to get that nice lighting too before the show. He put all those pictures on the wall behind him just for us, and they're commenting about the pictures. They love the pictures behind you on the wall.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And they're all numbered too, by some artist. I don't know who the artist is, but they were licensed photos, and I'm going through all the photos right now in my book. This is fascinating. I wish I could update it every week because I just got this photo or that photo, and John Ritter, loved John Ritter. Okay,
Wow.
I'm sorry.
John Ritter, yeah. And the forward, the updated one, the forward by Florence Henderson. How
Yeah,
beautiful. And that was weeks prior, like you said,
3
to her
weeks.
passing. So
Yeah.
that's extra special, extra special. Everybody's saying, Dominic D says, great show, Jim. Thanks, Michael, for all the entertaining stories. Good stuff. Kathleen in New York City, thanks for being here, Michael. Such fun listening to your wonderful stories and memories. And Maureen in Arizona, how lucky you were to be so loved by Lucy. You were like a son to her. And these are just a few of the comments coming in from
Well,
everybody
and Joe
watching.
Biden is texting me. He loved it. He took away from the White House for about an hour to listen to the show.
Did he as well?
Oh yeah, Joe and everyone else.
The Hobbit, the Pope as well,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
King Charles.
All right, so maybe not, but
Well, he could see it in the archives on our YouTube channel.
But I am getting a lot of text messages.
They are all welcome to join us. Subscribe to the channel. It takes a village. Spread the word. If you know other folks you think would like to pop on the show, Michael, let them know. They're all welcome to join us. Like I say, it's conversational, warm, no pre-scripted questions. It's like it was on the talk shows. We just have a good time. And you played fabulous tennis with us.
Thank you, Merv. I appreciate it.
You are Merv Masters.
Yeah. All
the
right.
best, Michael. Be well and get to work. Maybe have a sandwich in between. Did you give up lunch?
What lunch? In Texas, they don't have to give you a meal.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, they can make you work right through. Yeah, they do not have to give you a meal break. Yeah. Oh, I gotta go.
You gotta go.
Wonderful day.
Happy holidays, Michael. Thanks for being with us. We'll talk soon.
All right. Take care. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Cheers. Fade to black. That was Michael Stern. Yes, friend of our show, friend of mine, but also friend of lots of folks that you have an opportunity to see. He's scooting off because he works, as if you just joined us late, he works with Dr. Phil and that whole company. And he was the audience coordinator for the Dr. Phil show, which was shot at the Paramount lot in Hollywood, in LA. And when I went out to LA because for those watching for the first time, I work in television, I work in radio, stage and film, and I have for years. We're here on the East Coast in the New York area. So when I was out on the West Coast, which I've been multiple times, just a couple years before the craziness of the last few years, I let Michael know I was coming out and we were filming in Burbank. So he said, hey, if we can coordinate our schedules, we'll go to have dinner and then I'll take you to see, where I am at Dr. Phil at Paramount. And of course, Paramount is where Desi Lou was. And Paramount Studios, of course, responsible for so much incredible television and series and so much more. One of the coolest things that Michael showed me when I was at Paramount, I should show the photos one of these days, is how they have this huge parking lot at Paramount. And what they do is they have the staff and the crew take their cars out of this parking lot that sort of dips down. And there's a huge wall on one side of the parking lot. This was fascinating. And what they do is they have all the staff take the cars out of this big parking lot that has, again, like this dip to it in front of the big cement wall. And they flood the parking lot with the water. And they use that for some of the most iconic ocean scenes you've seen in some of your favorite movies and television series. It's the parking lot where the staff and crew parks when they're not doing that. And then those cars move and they flood the parking lot with water. And because they have that big cement wall, they're able to project, the ocean scenes and everything on the wall. And the water is filled into that dippy parking lot there. It was so cool to see all that. We got a chance to see a lot of the film sets and everything was great. And then we had some dinner. We're just talking about the crazy industries that we were in. This was at a great restaurant right across from Paramount, which was where Desi Lou was. And there's the book. That's when I first got the book at the gift shop at Paramount. There's the book, gang. It is, there I am. Peekaboo. You want to see me on this side or this side? I'll come over here. I had a ball. My friendship with Lucille Ball, Michael Z. Stern. Really cool conversation, huh? That's what we do here at the Jim Masters Show live series. If this is your first time here, we have about 1,037 episodes with guests from Hollywood, Broadway, television, film, sports, comedy, music, some legendary music people, comedians, psychics. I mean, just like a traditional celebrity talk show series, the way they used to do it, like our friend who we miss dearly, Regis Philbin. And of course, the Mike Douglases and the Mervs and John Davidson, who's been a guest on our show several times, Johnny Carson and Dick Cavett with their conversations. Our regular, viewers who watch all the time, the Lovities who never miss an episode, they know all that. But for those who are watching for the first time, joining us here at JMS, we welcome you, and that's how we do it. So we don't rush our guests either. They can come on for as long as they like, or if they have to duck in and out, they can do that as well. Hey, I want to let you know next week Sharon Gless, yes, another icon, is going to be with us next week at 7 Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. You know her from so many incredible shows and series, Cagney and Lacey. She had her new book as well. Coming up in January, David Joseph's going to be with us. He was going to be with us just a couple of days ago. He's a little under the weather. So renowned celebrity fashion designer. He's dressed them all. He's going to be with us in January. Did you see the episode with Adrian Zmed, TJ Hooker, and all these other great things? Of course, Grease. Yeah, he was with us recently as well. That's just a short list of folks who have been with us. Here again is the book, I Had a Ball, My Friendship with Lucille Ball. I didn't want to tell, I didn't want him to give away too much, but he did tell us quite a bit, which is really cool, and some unique special stories. I wanted to ask him about this too, but maybe I'll ask him after the show. Of course, this was very short-lived, and I know this impacted Lucy when this did not. This was an Aaron Spelling involved production. Who doesn't remember Here's Lucy, The Lucy Show, I Love Lucy? And this was a terrific. You never saw this funny movie with Henry Fonda and Lucille Ball, Yours, Mine, and Ours? It's amazing. And remember Wildcat as well, Lucille Ball and Wildcat. Countless movies, so much. And here's somebody else. We might as well throw it in. We didn't have time to really talk about it, but this is Mary Wicks, one of the most prolific character actors on many, many, many shows over the years. She was even on the Joey Bishop show. She was a Hollywood staple, and there is Michael with Mary Wicks. And we had, remember brilliant artist Henry Lamar? Henry Lamar was a guest on our show, and we had like an unreal exclusive 2-hour conversation. And he really opened up about his life, like a lot of our guests do. There is a beautiful piece of artwork by Henry Lamar with Michael Stern and Lucille Ball. And this is actually from one of the sets, being on set, and it was terrific. Michael was coming to us from Fort Worth, Texas, because he lives in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area now, because that's where Dr. Phil is and the company. So he relocated, and that's been a little bit of an adjustment, of course. Who doesn't remember the Lucy Desi Comedy Hour? Of course, you can see all these things on the nostalgic channels and DVDs and so much more. But got a chance, which I thought was really nice, to have a couple of nice words about an icon we lost just a day or so ago, who we could do a whole episode just on, the incomparable Norman Lear. You almost forget about how many shows he was responsible for. Everybody, of course, knows All in the Family, Good Times, Maude, Sanford and Son. He had some involvement in that. Oh my God, so many of them. Don't forget Good Times and Mary Hartman. The Facts of Life, Different Strokes. Bet you didn't even think about those, right? Because everybody's talking about All in the Family and all the main ones, the big ones. But all great shows from our lifetimes on television. Really fantastic conversation, and that's what we do here. First time here, gang. Welcome to the Jim Masters Show. Spread the word. Don't keep it a secret. Get on Mount Everest with a bullhorn and say, I love the Jim Masters Show. That would be great. We appreciate that. And we'll be back with more great episodes coming up. They're all archived on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Again, like, comment, subscribe, drop a comment for us too in the comment section underneath the episode. Let us know what you enjoyed. What are some of your favorite episodes of Lucy's series, all the different series, and what you enjoy about this conversation? We're very interactive. Thanks to everybody for these great comments. And let's see. Oh boy. Wow, look at all these comments piling in here. We always have a lot of great people who watch and comment. Thanks for all this activity here. We really appreciate all of you here. Hopefully, we try to squeeze a few in. Thanks. We got to say thanks again to Dominic D, who did a super chat. In the chat section, we call it the Lovety Hall chat section. In the chat section, when the show's on live, you can chat with one another, and sometimes we sprinkle a comment or two on the screen. You can support the series that way, or with the super heart icon. There's a little heart icon underneath all the episodes on the channel. Click that, and it helps support what we're doing. But Dominic D did that with the question about Gail Gordon, which we saw that. We wanted to make sure we got that on the screen. And to thank you, Dominic D, for your support of the Jim Masters Show live series. Good stuff, gang. We love you all. This is your host, Jim Masters, thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, I'll be right here waiting for you in the host chair. More great conversation, poignant moments, laughs, surprises, and whatever else we can dig up. And yes, George Burns is here in the genie bottle, and there's the glass turtle. Like Gilligan's back there somewhere. Gilligan's in there. Oh, there's Gilligan. I was pointing before to, but he saw it anyway. He's got some eyesight. There's Gilligan next to the award statues there. Gilligan's right there from Dream of Denver, Bob's wife. It was great. All right, that's a wrap. I know we hate to go, right? Because we always have such a good time with all of you. However, I need to have a sandwich too. He's going back to work our day because we're on the East Coast. It's like 8:30 at night, live, and wherever it is around the world, whatever time it is. Thanks for stopping by, JMS. We loved having you here. And Dominic D says, taking it home. Thanks, Jim, for a great show. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you, and welcome all the new viewers and subscribers on the Jim Masters Show. We love it, and you're all welcome to join us. And don't forget, you can go in the archives and you can see like over 1,030 plus episodes with all these great guests and everything else, and the evolution of our series too over the months and years. You see sort of the evolution of the feel and look of it, as you always tweak things as you go along. Because I always like to deliver, working in the industry, I try to, as best as we can, give you guys the best, whatever we can throw at you that leaves you happy and smiling, laughing and thinking, and learning. That's the best. That's why I love doing this series. A lot of people said, are you going to do it just during the pandemic? I said, as long as you're here and it keeps growing, we'll be here for you. So with that, we always have long exits, don't we? We don't say goodbye. We say, see you later. Ciao and cheers. Norman Lear never said goodbye either. I think he said up next or stay tuned. So we invite you to do that as well. We'll see you on the next episode. Jim Masters, your host. Thank you again for your time this time. Till next time, come see us again at JMS, Lovety Hall, and spread the word. It takes a village. We'll see you again. Thanks for being with us. Cheers.